Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Market Check, a special episode of Market Check, as it is the final time that we will be live in the year of 2024. So today will be a day of reflection, of course, probably a little bit of prediction as well. But as always, we are going to bring you as much alpha.
What the
That
fuck?
wasn't me, but we are going to bring you guys much alpha today. Thank you, as always, for being here on this lovely day and tuning in for our show. I'm Tommy. You guys also know me as Snorlax. I'm joined by Max Tucker, Unbothered Chef Jackus, and of course, Big Louie Tuesday. Welcome to you guys as well. But before we can get started, guys, before we can start cooking, and Jackus will be cooking for you early on in the show because it is the final market check of the year. So make sure to hit that like button for us. Destroy that like button. You said yesterday, I remember seeing some comments that you weren't hitting the like button because it wasn't a green day. Well, today, most of the assets on my watch list are green, at least over in the cryptoverse. So slam that like button for us. And like I said, we'll do our best to cook you up a delicious meal. It is Tuesday, as we so appropriately and often name it. It is Tuesday. We kind of revert whatever happens on a Monday that is happening right now. To the best of my knowledge, it looks like we are probably going to squeeze the majority of the positions that were opened on a Monday, right? That probably implies higher pricing, at least across the board on majors. And we're seeing some distinct strength in a few specific altcoins, such as the title of this video, right? Pepe. Elon Musk has been talking about the frog very frequently here over the last few weeks. He's kind of saying it without actually saying it, that Pepe is the Doge of this cycle, right? And I'm sure that that's a concept that we are about to talk about as well. But it is kind of crazy to think about, right? When we started this year, where Pepe was trading versus where we are now, I always make the comment, sometimes you can't really tell what the path is going to look like from point A to point B, but you can kind of visualize what the end is probably going to look like. And I feel like we're beginning to see what that looks like for Pepe, at least as the king meme of the cycle, right? Cyclicality, time, these are very powerful factors when it comes to a market cycle, and Pepe is no different than that, right? But yeah, quite the year, not just for Pepe, for meme coins, for crypto. We reflected on that a little bit yesterday. I'd like to probably do it again, of course, and as well talk about maybe some predictions for 2025, which I anticipate will probably be equally crazy for crypto as 2024 was. So how are we doing, guys? How are we feeling on the final day of 2024? How quickly it went by the way. And what are we seeing in the markets today?
And 2024 flew by, guys. Flew by. And I am really excited for 2025. But I'm also so thankful for 2024. I mean, this was a life-changing year, I think, for all of us here on this panel, and probably a lot of you guys in the audience. So there's a lot to reflect on and a lot to be grateful for. And here's what I've learned is that as much emphasis as I like to put on setting some yearly goals, you just really never know what's going to happen. You come up with a plan. It's like rubbing a genie in a bottle, right? You rub the bottle, the genie comes out and he's like, yeah, easy, Louis, with those eyebrows there. And he's like, what's your wish? And you're like, I wish to be taller. And he makes you like 12 feet tall. And you're like, it's not exactly what I meant, but technically you're correct.
Was that a short joke, bro?
Was that a what?
Was that a short joke?
A short throw. What is a short throw?
Short joke.
Oh, no, not to you, Louis. But anyways, it's I digress. It's like I have all these goals and aspirations, but the truth is you're kind of just along for the ride. And the way that the ride is shaping up gets me pretty excited for 2025, because truth be told, like I mean, a lot of you guys found this channel when we were covering Pepe in the bear market when it was at, 300 to 500 million. And I had all these crazy fractals and ambitions for Pepe, and they've exceeded my expectations, at least from a timing perspective, right? If you were to tell me that, hey, Max, so you'll be right that Pepe is going to rip face and be the Dogecoin of the cycle, like you suggested. But hey, December 31st, it's going to be pressing 10 billion market cap and ETH is going to be under 3,500. I wouldn't have believed you, right? So it's never exactly how you expect, right? And I kind of feel like it's next year is even going to exceed our wildest expectations, truthfully. So I submit to the market. I submit to Kekius Maximus. I am along for the ride, but I know that the ride is going to be fun. That's for sure. But thank you all for being here and for being, market check enjoyers. When we started the show, I don't know what the official start day was, but even going back to like January, early January of last year, no one was watching the show, man. I feel like there were days when we had like 20 people watching Market Check. And now it's grown to be a show where between YouTube and Twitter, we're getting like, 10 to 15,000 live, watches per day. And you guys, I see all you guys, like I know the names, I know the PFPs, I know the personalities in the comments, and it's fun hanging out with you guys here every single day. And we wouldn't be able to wake up and do what we do without all of you showing us support, and coming and hanging out with us. So big thank you from the BB team to all of you guys. What a crazy year it's been, right? What an absolutely crazy year it's been. Jim,
Jim.
Wow.
Jim the legend.
Jim is just, he's a goat amongst goats, man. He is like the giga goat, There's like a whole herd of goats, and Jim is like, he's like the Hulk of goats. He's just like 8 times the size of a normal goat. Unbelievable, man. Thank you, Jim. But all right, so here's the deal. Jackus only has probably like 10 or 15 more minutes, and then he's got to go. So he promised, given that it is the last market check of the year, and he can't be here for the full time, he would drop his greediness today and not demand that you guys give us 1 million likes, and he would cook for you as a gift to end the year on a Jackus note. So Chef Jackus, maybe you would do us the honor of cooking a little bit. Let them know what's up. Let them know how you're feeling about what happened in 2024, what you're expecting for 2025. And Chef Jackus, how are you? What are you seeing in the markets?
That lovely intro. What am I seeing, guys? I'm seeing head and shoulders pattern, and that things are going to go way down, unfortunately.
It's
the
over.
bears were right. It's over. But I think, there's going to be an escape pump, and then it's a rollover down. So it is what it is. But oh wait, we are inverted. Oh wait. Oh, maybe the bears weren't right. No, obviously, no, guys. We getting a little bit of old market manipulators here. But who am I to complain, right? If the richest man in the world decides it's time to pump our bags, it's time to pump our bags, and I like it. But yeah, guys, Pepe looking still good, and I still think that charts are charts playing levels to levels. So I think going into 2025, lots of people have lots of PTSD. Rightfully so, I would say. Rightfully so. All right, let's not sugarcoat it. But I still do think that next year is going to be the best year of this cycle yet. I think so, due to logical reasons, and one of which is that exactly this. You have the richest man in the world in the government. You have Trump coming into office January 21st, setting the most for crypto friendly bullish conditions in the history. And you have ETH on the verge of breakout of 4K. Now that is yet to do, and obviously nobody knows the future. Legend says that Jackies is never wrong. It's the market that is wrong, right?
I can
But,
confirm that that's true. That's true.
But I think that we will see that ease break of 4K, and I think that will heavily, obviously, favor Pepe. And I think, looking at the chart itself here, what we had, right, is that we got a little bit of euphoria here. You know, we had the Coinbase listing and so forth. And then we had the rejection, but we had the rejection straight into what we could call a prior cycle or prior swing all-time highs. And these are always very powerful if you go back, right? So each time you get it, you get a scary one. This one was definitely scary. But what was very important is that we not accepted below it. We did not really accept below this range. And we actually came back to reclaim it. We were close, and I was saying this, you know, we are at higher time frame retest that we must hold. We do. But once we are at it, you do not panic, and you expect it to hold until proven otherwise. And so now we are holding the support, and I do think we will get some retest coming in. You know, this looks like a logical area to me. We could see some stop runs, or maybe something like that. The pullback is going to come. It will, you know. I do not think it's going to be as random as just going straight up. If it is, I'm not complaining. And if it is, the pullback comes from higher up. What I mean was that, right? We have to think as what BTC has done in March. So what it has done, right, it was that it could have gone up here, just like ETH. You know, imagine this is ETH at 4K. And what ETH could have done was reject here and then go lower. But instead, it sort of went above it, right? So that can happen too. That can happen too. But I think rather that Pepe is... And this would depend really on Mr. Pepemus Maximus, or what is his name? Kekius Maximus. As we know him today. But when it comes, again, I think at some point the pullback is going to come. I think that's a bullish opportunity, and that means higher, which is obviously, hint, hint, bullish for the whole boys club narrative, quite obviously. So in that regard, again, I think next year is going to be the most bullish of the cycle yet. I think we will see Pepe do sort of what Doge has done in the prior cycle, but you have to think in mind that not from here, and that each cycle is very different. And Pepe has been going already from these levels, you know, to the upside. So it will go up still a lot, but and it's going to repeat sort of Doge, but from these levels, you know, not from these. But still very big upside ahead. And I think, yeah, we kind of discussed this today on an early BB call, but that it's likely that Elon is going to do with Pepe what he did with Doge, what he did with Doge in the past cycle. The question is, can he still do it, right? Can he? That is yet to be seen. I believe he can, but we'll see. Chart-wise, you know, it looks amazing. Pepe on its own looks amazing. ETH looks amazing going into 2025. It must be holding this level. That is true. I said this many times, but I do not see a reason why it shouldn't. And when it's ready, it's ready. So that is that, guys. That is that. BTC, just like the rest, you know, just like ETH, just like Pepe, going into 2025 is looking amazing. And I just have to be bullish for the whole year. I do not really see much other reason to think otherwise. You know, if we look at it, we had the big breakout. Obviously, nothing goes up in a straight line, so a pause is normal. We are not even doing some crazy pullback, totally normal. And I think that this can easily, what you could do in anticipation of next year, you could see lots of these types of pullbacks ahead. But I think generally speaking, your bias should be bullish. And once BTC goes, lots of people hate that because it's taking market share from their alts. But I say it's only postponing that. I think BTC that's bullish is simply bullish for the whole space. And it's going to postpone what is yet to come for the rest. So that is my current take. And when it comes to the local range, guys, who could have foreseen yesterday? Literally been saying this live on stream. Now, what I would love to see again is this reclaim to seal it for me. So if we get it, I think the bottom of the range has been set. And we could get some, some push through. Oh, shit, wrong tool. We could get some push through and maybe retest in the future. But yeah, it's looking good. I don't know, guys. Do you have anything to add? I do not want to do a monologue here, but
Yeah, I'm really excited for your outlook on Ethereum specifically because so you talked about Pepe at length and then the implication for the rest of the boys club and how that will trickle down to beta of Pepe. But really we know that the gasoline on this fire at the end of the day is Ethereum, right? So I look at ETH suppressed under 3,500. And I mean, even like 4,000 you have drawn right there, right? And I'm like, Pepe is sitting at what, 9 billion market cap with a sub 4K ETH. Like for Pepe to go to for Pepe to go to 50 billion is a 5x from here. ETH 5x is like, 15 to 20K per ETH. I'm not necessarily prophesying that that's going to happen, but it's like ETH hasn't even done anything yet, and you have large cap like ETH beta being Pepe going on a moon mission, right? So I'm like, how are you personally viewing this setup, Jackus? Like, do you think that ETH is just a beach ball underwater and is going to teleport to 10K, before the second half of 2025, and Pepe is just going to? Because here's the thing: if we try to draw a comparison between Pepe and Doge at this phase of the cycle in 2020 and 2021, Doge was still at like a billion market cap. Pepe is like 9 times bigger, 10 times bigger than Doge was at this phase of the cycle, from when Bitcoin finally went into price discovery and then ETH followed shortly after. Do you think it's just a situation where like Doge opened the door to ridiculous meme coin valuations and Pepe is about to go crazier than even the craziest lunatic expects it to go? Or do you think that maybe we see like an early Q2 top on something like Pepe and then a rotation into fundamentals? Like, I'm just trying to make sense of how Pepe is already so high, but ETH hasn't done shit yet. And we understand the relationship where ETH really is the fuel to send our memes higher, especially ETH ones.
yeah, I think that lots of people are not seeing this. This was BTC beach ball underwater in the prior cycle, and then when it was ready to go, it went really quickly. And I think I legit think that ETH could be doing what BTC has done in the prior cycle here. It's not literally the same. You sort of like had the deviation up here. It's never the same, but each cycle we know that there are lots of similarities, and I think this is really the forest for the trees here, is that you need to be viewing this. And I think there were times, where we were ready to go already, and it simply got postponed. That they postponed this move in crypto longer than most anticipated. And this is something that you simply cannot foretell ahead. I mean, even the mighty GCR said in April of this year that this is a generational entry basically, and that you should be buying and not selling. And since April, which was right here, look what ease and basically everything has done. Basically nothing unranged. Now, has this changed anything from the bigger perspective? No, it only postponed it, right? So it looked really good in April. It did. And then it didn't over here. Things got postponed. And then what you're seeing here is a normal reaction to a technical level, right? After this run up. It's normal. This is how market behave. But I do not think it changes anything. And I think that the bigger picture that so many people are missing here is the bigger play. And that's basically that you sort of are like here. You are in this region. And I think that when it breaks out, I think it might not be stopping for quite some time. We will have to see to what highs it can go. And the thing is that before the breakout, you are not seeing all of it. You are like, but how can ETH do it, right? Like, who is going to buy it? Where will the liquidity come from? We all know these eternal questions that we laugh at regularly. The thing is that who saw Larry Fink coming in shilling BTC, right? Who saw the ETS at the bottom of a bear market, right? These things come along as the price starts to move up. Who saw, Elon's shilling Doge past cycle? It's sort of, you gotta see it ahead when things are cheap and when things are not shilled publicly. You gotta see the good price. And that's what I'm seeing here. And I can't tell you what it's going to be, right? Maybe it's Larry who's going to come up again and say, hey, we are building on ETH, which, by the way, he is. But maybe it's going to be someone else, or maybe it's going to be some revolutionary breakthrough that they are yet to publish publicly. They know they are playing it in the background. The chart is telling me that this is a giant range, higher time frame, mega range that's going to explode to the upside. Unless, of course, you are to believe, unless you are the one who is not believing in anything and he is believing in the end of the world. And that comes if we were to lose this level. Like, if we are, then this chart breaks, and you are not looking for like a minor break, right? You would be looking like it's over. But I am not a believer of it. I think that as long as levels hold, and I think all of this is just coming together. I think we were ready to go in here already, just like Nasdaq was. If I were to put in Nasdaq, you never know ahead whether it's going to be pretty much just like this. Like this could have been what you see here, right? This could have been the first attempt on the 4K level. Instead, it got postponed. I reacted. I was ready for a drop. But then I didn't lose the sight of the forest. I didn't wait for 3 digits because I still think that this was the play. And it depends on local conditions. This is why cycles are never the same, but they are very similar. And with that in mind, I just think that it is similar to lots of the prior cycles. I think it's similar to Nasdaq, and I think it's similar in some ways to BTC in prior cycle. It's like a combination of the two, but in both cases, it's ready to go higher. And as you said, Max, if ETH, and we can debate, right? I do not know to which height it goes to. Does it go to 15K? Maybe it goes less, maybe it goes slightly more. But I do not really care, because I'll be the market respecter and I'll watch the swings along the way. I think it's ludicrous, people thinking like, do you really think ETH can go to 8K? Like, isn't that too much? Like, come on, man. That's 138%. That's nothing. You have bear market PTSD thinking like this, right? Like, study NASDAQ. That's what it did, right? Study what BTC has done in the past cycle, as I said. Just if I were to calculate it from this moment alone, BTC went 600%, basically. 590 if you want to be that guy. I do not think that this target is unrealistic at all. 20K for ETH. I do not think it's at all unrealistic. I think lots of like new alts do what their higher cap versions did in the prior cycle. And I think this is a very realistic take, actually. So what does that bring to Pepe? Well, you should do the math, right? You always say, Max, that Pepe is 3x spot leveraged ETH, if I'm not mistaken. So if we were to go from the current prices to 20K, let's say that's 500%. For Pepe, that would be from the current price. I think realistically, this is what Pepe can do.
What percentage is that?
1,500%.
Is that a 16x, Jackus?
Yeah.
So that would be what? What's the market cap right now?
Meat
10
stick.
mil?
The market cap is
8.
basically 9 billion, 8.8.
Yeah.
I think, by the way, guys, you shouldn't be looking at these and these being your target. That would be a wrong take, in my opinion. I think it's a bull market possibility. But I would, and by the way, you only have now Elon shilling Pepe. He's only beginning. When he started to shill Doge, anyone that would tell you these targets, it was also impossible in the prior cycle. So in a bull market, you need to be ready for prices to get absurd. And that absurd level is 140 billion for Pepe, in my opinion. It's an absurd level, but I think in bull markets it's possible. We could get an early top, and maybe it doesn't even go to 3 digits market capitalization. It's not what I want to see, but I would be ready. But I think it's something that is definitely possible.
Jackus,
Right?
I have some tips for you on that Pepe market cap chart that line up with that, by the way. So put it in log mode real quick, the Pepe market cap chart. And then from range high, so right there, yeah, to the low. Nope, yeah, that one right there. To the low. Add on your 3.618.
Do I go log, right?
Yeah, log mode.
You always go log. You never not go log.
Hello,
if you're not going log, you're leaving X's on the table.
And
Tucker has learned this through time.
Mm-hmm.
The bottom box there, Jackus. Click that so it's in log mode. Bottom. All the way at the very bottom. You'll see it. Fib levels based on log. Yeah. Now look at the market cap at the 3.618. Boom.
120 to 230.
No, no.
Go ahead and
Yeah.
add a little bit more.
You wouldn't believe it.
What should I add, Will?
Nah, just extend your fibs a little more. Just because.
You mean like add
No, I mean just
new
spread 'em
numbers
out
or?
more. There you go. I like that. There you go. That looks good.
No, that's a little bit too crazy on my part. I think like psychologically, right? We should have in mind that bull markets can overextend, and I think because people think always like logically this is crazy for meme coin such as Pepe to go to 3 digits billion market capitalization. I think it's a possibility that's important to have, but I think once we would reach it, people would be like, hey, that's kind of crazy market capitalization right now. I'm not saying that it's going to be precisely on that number, but I think above it is like your crazy get out position.
Yeah.
What is MS yapping about? I see him yapping over there.
Who's yapping?
MFs.
Will just
Just see a bunch
attacking the
of
comment section. Nothing.
Anyways,
new.
guys. Anyways, I gotta run. I did cook for you on the last day of the year. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And I think that, to sum it up from my part, 2024 absolutely amazing. As you said, guys, we grew so much. I do not think it's by an accident. I think we've been grinding here every single day, even when the days were not pleasant, even when we were not in the mood. It's not easy always. Sometimes it's fun, but sometimes it's not. And we try to make it fun. But all in all, I think it's been an amazing year. And I'm even more looking for 2025 because I think that's where all the hard work lines up. So yeah, guys, have a great rest of the show. Enjoy the last hours of this year. And guess what? Next year, we grind again. Which is in few
Jackus,
hours.
thanks for a great year, brother. It's been absolutely fantastic. We're gonna send you off on your journey. All right. Have a good New Year's. All right. Have a nice New Year's kiss. And
it's going to be earlier for me than you guys.
yeah, that's right. Because you're a Euro scalper. That's right.
I'm Europor. They probably going to regulate the New Year in Europe. They recently regulated the.
Nobody is allowed to kiss until exactly New Year's. If you're early, you go to jail.
Right. If you're early, go to jail.
I swear that they will regulate the poop time in Europe these days. Absolutely mental.
You guys have very sensitive old plumbing. I mean, I'm fully in support of that. So.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, happy New Year. Enjoy the show. See ya, guys.
Jackus.
Happy New Year, Jackus.
Max. So MF says that I'm arrogant. How arrogant am I?
Do you think he's
Max?
wrong? Is he wrong?
Will.
You think he's wrong?
Is he? I'm just asking. Is he wrong?
Will.
Look, there's a difference between confidence and arrogance. All right, I understand you've never met a confident person in your life, but there's definitely a difference between the two. I'm just confident in what I'm trading. I'm confident in the trades that I make, and I'm confident in the fact that we brought thousands upon thousands upon thousands of X's upon our members' heads. So
I mean, he's speaking facts, but Will, I have a question for you. What is that guy behind you, bro?
What's going on there, Will?
And why is his lower jaw like extended so forward? What
am I looking at?
This is your average person telling you don't be overly bullish. You read the headwinds. We might go down further. There might be more downside. This is your average person that does that, right? They're speaking from their Android cell phone, and they're telling me what I should and should not be
There
doing
you
in the
go,
markets.
Max. There you go.
I felt like it wouldn't be a New Year's celebration without His Excellency. So
I think I have that somewhere.
His Excellency.
Yeah, I got this one.
Happy New Year, Justin.
Mhm.
Look, I'm the dad that most people wish actually came home. All right, that's all I'm saying. I know that's hard for a lot of people to handle. It it happens. Obviously, the estrogen starts to boil sometimes, but it is what it is. You
Will,
know.
what is happening? All right, who's pulling up their chart? Louis or Will or me or anybody?
I do have some requests for Max
Oh,
because
For
I mean,
me?
last day of the year, we gotta give the people what they want, and that's some Max cook session.
Hang on, I can do that, but first
I
I have
have
to
I
pull up-
have two requests, and then you could do obviously whatever you want. You can do whatever you want regardless. But I want to see or take a look at one that the NVIDIA fractal that we've touched on. If you could look
Yeah.
at that, and then I also would love to see. I know you don't have your full setup right now, but if we could look at the Doge and the Pepe fractals that we were looking at earlier in the year and see kind of, how those are playing out, and if we could compare Pepe to Doge, because I mean, I think we're seeing the same exact playbook play out for Pepe, that we saw with Doge, right? So I think that'd be helpful.
Can I add to this conversation really quick?
real quick, Tommy, what do you think of my background?
I love it.
No, I think it's too
His
much. but,
Excellency.
It looks like he's got an elbow for a chin, but yeah. So I think I had somebody to Discord today. They were like, SPX looks a little bearish. Looks like it could get more downside. And I responded to them and I said, "Are you buying SPX?" And all I saw was complete silence. Because people want to look at these things and they want to be like, well, SPX, well, NVIDIA, well, Google, are you buying them? No? Okay, then nobody cares. Just stay focused on the prize. The prize is low caps and micro caps and mid caps. That's the prize.
Dude, the prize is literally Pepe and Pepe derivatives. It is what it is. You're going to get outperformed by a comic book. How does that feel, Bucko?
I remember the guy that said the other day, Max, they said, join the Discord so you can be shilled ETH memes. No, join the Discord so you can make thousands of X's.
So. Yeah.
All right, Max, what do you make of that chart right there?
This?
Yeah.
Yeah, bottoms in, brother.
Bottoms in?
Yeah, so let me do this. So first, I'm going to show you why the bottom's in. All right. And then we're going to go over the Louis requests. All right. Louis wants to exploit my charting abilities, and I'm going to allow myself to be exploited for Louis's benefit right now. All right. And it is what it is. So let's fast forward here. The 1 hour. I miss my big monitor, man. I really miss my big monitor. It's so much harder to chart on a little tiny laptop. I don't know how some of you guys do it. Just could never be me. I put this in our Discord last night. I said I see some pretty incredible similarities structurally to this bottom. I put it when we were right down here. I said we really should be bottoming right here. I kind of think this is where we're at, low key. Right in this blue box. And I think we're probably going to just rock it up to start the new year. Honestly, like perfect trap has been set. I don't see a reason to diddle around here anymore. It's time, guys. It's time. So what do I make of this chart, Tucker? This is what I make of this chart right here. What do you think about this, Tucker?
I did like the sweep that we put in yesterday. I mean, you guys remember, I mean, everybody, myself included, was drawing out the Bitcoin ETF fractal, right? Because it looked damn similar to that, which would have implied like 88K, which would have been all too convenient, probably. So Yeah, I think it looks. I think it looks pretty good. I do. We are gonna have a yearly open tonight. Um, at some point, we're gonna have to put in a yearly wick to the downside. I don't think it necessarily comes on like the first day, but at some point we will most likely. So, um, I don't know, just because of U.S. tax stuff, I think you could maybe see a little selling into like the first week of January, but that really should be it, honestly. Like January is historically a fantastic post-election, post-halving year for ETH and ETH beta and even Bitcoin. So I would agree with you here.
Well, that's a relief. I think.
I need you to say that with your chest, Haggard. I need you to say that with your chest.
What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say?
You agree with him here, but with your chest.
I agree, Will. I agree. I don't
You
know.
just what?
I mean, I
You
think
just
you
what?
could see a little bit of tax year-end flow, just I don't want to say bullshit, going on for the first couple days, basically, right? So
He's
you know.
sidelined coping. Get him.
Get him, everybody, get him. Yeah.
January. I
Hey,
felt
look,
the hesitation,
Will,
bro.
January is gonna
I
be
felt
epic. Okay, January is gonna be epic. So is Q1. So don't worry about that.
2023.
Yeah.
Look, I think there's
That was a low
potential.
candle.
I think there's potential for a little bit of cooldown after this big run up we just had on a lot of these things. It just popped off really hard. I mean, FFIE just went from $1 to $5 in like literally like 3 days. Then you got a bunch of these other AI tech stocks, a bunch of things in crypto that just popped off really hard. These could cool back down to the levels of where they started for sure. And I think like after that, absolutely fucking start chatting. I think just not enough people are looking at it from that perspective. I think your sell-off, a lot of it probably already occurred. Typically, it does occur going into Q4, and then you get an additional sell-off somewhat in the beginning of the year. But I don't think it's going to be enough to deter this market. I really don't. And then you got inauguration going into January too. That's going to be another anticipation for markets.
Well,
I think that
usually that like
looking at.
January sell-off that we get for Bitcoin, I feel like probably already happened because there really was no Santa rally. Like Santa did not come this year. Like
That's what I'm
straight
saying.
up didn't happen. Yeah, I think your January sell-off you usually get happened in December, and there was some precedent for that. There's some things we were looking at where we were like, okay, is this cycle 1 month ahead basically than the previous cycles? I don't know.
We've been ahead. We were at all-time high faster than we normally are, right?
Yeah.
Like we've been ahead. The market's been ahead of this shit. So, and maybe it even ends 1 month earlier, right? Rather than ending in December like it typically does, it ends in, September, October, November, somewhere in there.
So Tucker, are you observing this?
What are you on? Bitcoin 1 hour of the 2023 open. Yeah, just give a little one of those. I mean, I was gonna say we should look at 2017 and 2021 opens, but like I just said, right? I think those January sell-offs for Bitcoin pulled back 30% in January of those post-election years. Probably was front run or already mostly happened in December. So I don't know how relevant those would be, but
that yearly candle is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Louis, you wanted to see the NVIDIA fractal, is that right? Or what else do you want to see?
Just the Pepe Doge comparisons, like what Doge did last cycle to Pepe now. I don't know. I know like the fractals you were following aren't as valid, but just seeing kind of what Doge did and where it went as far as percentage gains and stuff like that, I think it would be useful.
Okay.
But
well, let's do it then. So
it's funny because we have a yearly candle and they're representative of one single, unit. But when you talk about over the course of a year, it's really not a very fair representation. Maybe that's just because we're too close to the market. But it's funny how one candle, it can't really tell the full story of obviously what this year was. I was just kind of thinking about that. It's a day to reminisce a little bit on the year that was.
Yeah, it doesn't incorporate the 8 months of chop that we had to sit through.
There were some tough days, man. There were definitely some tough days in crypto. But that's what makes it beautiful.
There's a lot of PTSD in this market, man. And I always say it, but it's like there's so much PTSD. Everybody wants to be right. It's not about being right. It's about making fucking money, right? And buying when it's optimal to buy, and not buying when it's not optimal to buy. It's not optimal to buy if you think you're going into a full-on blown bear market. It's optimal to buy anytime you think you're still in a bull market. Doesn't matter if you're on the upside of that move or the downside of that move. You're going up higher. That's how a bull market works. And I think that's the hard part that a lot of people have coping with is like, did I buy the top end of the range or the bottom end of the range? Who gives a shit if you're going significantly higher, right? Like I think that's the hard part that people can't take. They want money now. You're not coming in here to make a paycheck. I mean, we talked about this before. You're coming in here to invest. You're coming in here to make actual money, right? A paycheck is not actual money. That's employee status. Actual money is being able to make enough money to start a business or buy a car or buy a home, or that's actual money, not fucking paying your rent.
So this fractal requires a little bit of explaining, all right, because I if you go back on my X account, you'll see that I posted this fractal for Pepe down at that mega demand back in, like, it was either end of 2023 or 2024, and it's played out. But I also think it's possible that I was wrong on this, and not wrong in the sense that Pepe is the doge of this cycle, but wrong in the sense that I was too bearish on Pepe, and it requires a little bit of explaining. So looking at this here, it's important to contextualize like cyclically where we're at. Okay. So we need to apply Bitcoin to this equation as well and say, all right, where is Bitcoin within all of this? So if we look at this fractal alone, we could say, all right, Pepe did this little reaccumulation down in here before Bitcoin went into price discovery. This is when Bitcoin went into price discovery, right here. Where this time around, you could argue Bitcoin went into price discovery right here. I know we had like a little sweep and whatever, but I wouldn't really call this price discovery. All right. So Bitcoin went into price discovery right here. And this is the move that we got. So I've also kind of reworked this to suggest that, hey, maybe Pepe is actually right here where Doge was at. So I made a new one. And it's possible that this is actually where we're at. And I was wrong, and I was too bearish on my fractal. You guys understand what I mean? So it's possible that this is actually where we're at because of how this times out with Bitcoin going into price discovery. Look at this pump. Do you guys see what I'm talking about here? So it's possible that like we're literally right now, right here for our Pepe Doge comparison, rather than being close to the cycle top. And I think the big difference maker here is like, I was targeting initially 50 billion for Pepe, but because of how fast it's grown and moved, and again, applying context, like where Bitcoin likely is within the broader cycle, where ETH likely is within its cycle, and how far along Pepe already is, I think it warrants a reevaluation and the possibility being brought to the table that, hey, maybe 50 billion was actually way too short-sighted on Pepe. You know, I still think it's a good target, But if this is where we're at, then we likely still have, like Jackus was showing, 1,500% left, which I know probably sounds crazy to a lot of people, but I think my comparison is off because it doesn't line up with our high time frame cycle view anymore. So I think it's possible that like Pepe is genuinely right here on the Doge fractal, and it's probably going to go a lot higher than most people realize. Like we'll marking out some fibs here. What the heck? Oh. I think it's possible, we could see the 3.618 here. Which would be, this is like 125 billion, the 3.618. So I haven't done the same fibs or whatever, here on Pepe yet. It's not going to line up perfectly or whatever. I'll have to play around with it, but just like if Bitcoin really is like right in here, and we just went into price discovery, and if this circle right here is where we're at, then oh my goodness, we're going to go higher than 50 billion. All right. So I don't know. I'm willing to be right as well as super wrong on this for calling for 50 billion, when we were down at 300 to 500 million. But I'm currently trying to kind of rework this to be a little bit more conscious of cyclically where we could be at. So it genuinely, like, you need to be open to the possibility that Pepe genuinely goes to like 150 billion, and just no one can believe it. And it's like last cycle, nobody thought that Doge was going to go to 75 cents last cycle. I remember people like taking huge victory laps when Doge got to like a penny, like that it did anything, right? For Doge to go to, it was like 80 billion market cap or something like that. I mean, that's crazy. Like people, you can't really fathom what mania is like for these meme coins until they happen. So I don't know. I mean, 50 billion isn't what it was 4 years ago. And I think you have to also recognize that, like, look, last cycle was the first time we really saw meme coins hit the main stage and go crazy. And Doge went to, 75 or 80 billion. SHIB went above 50 billion. I think we're going to continue to see the extreme be pushed on what is possible for these meme coins. Where, wow, it's crazy that a meme coin went to 80 billion. And now it's going to be like, Pepe literally is going to be bigger than like some very reputable like NASDAQ companies, and it's going to just get obscene. And we're just going to keep pushing the bounds of what's possible. And it's going to be really hard to stomach. It's going to be really hard to like realize that, hey, there's a guy out there that invested, $1,000 in Pepe in, May of 2023, and he's now worth $550 million. It's just going to be some crazy figure like that. And we just won't be able to like to realize it, and it's like, I kind of think back to, have you ever seen like Olympic sprinters back in like the 50s or 60s, and they were running like 12-second, 100-meter dashes, and everyone was like, he's the fastest man to ever live. And now it's like you have 8th graders doing that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's going to be, in my view, kind of the same thing here, where it's like every cycle, it's just going to get crazier and crazier and crazier. And some of it has to do with the idea that, like, genuinely, I'm not joking when I say this 50 billion is not what it was 4 years ago. There are a whole bunch of dynamics at play, valuations shifting and become very skewed. But the subjectivity of like what an asset is, it becomes more gray every single year. And the longer that all these Ponzi's and the subjectivity of what wealth continues, the more legitimate it becomes and the less questioned it ultimately becomes, because the subjectivity is just so much more gray. So I really think like the bounds of what is possible here is not being respected by many. And I'm guilty of that as well, because you can really only use historical examples of what is possible. So it's like you have to look left on the chart and be like, okay, well, this is what Doge did last cycle. We're going to do this again for Pepe. But it's like we might not be considering the fact that Pepe might literally go on to like 150 or 200 billion. And even the craziest bulls didn't see it coming. And you're going to cope by selling 50 to 100 billion Pepe. You're going to be like, why did I sell my full bag? I thought I knew, you know? It could just get crazy, you know? So I'm not trying to be like the Giga Moon Boy. Like, I'm going to be shaving above 50 billion. That's always been my plan. But the point in this is like, look, come up with your plan, stick to your plan, take the trade, place the trade, grow some balls. But at the same time, you have to realize, like, leave a runner, okay? Like, things can get a lot crazier than you realize really quickly. And once it happens, it will feel normal. Like once Doge went to, 80 billion, it kind of felt normal. You're like, okay, it's been up here for like a few months, and it just feels normal. But I'm telling you, back in like 2020, when Doge was at, 100 million or something like that, the idea that Doge could go to 80 billion was literally ridiculous, like literally ridiculous.
The
And this
idea
is
of getting back above
literally
20K for Bitcoin was too. It was like, and then we went to
Yeah.
70K. That's Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly. So all I'm saying is like be open to like truly the most entertaining outcome being the one that happens. And that's usually how things unfold here. You need to wake up one day and be like, I genuinely can't believe what I'm looking at. Like Pepe is at like such a ridiculous valuation that I feel sick to my stomach, And by the way, the same thing is going to happen with Andy and Wolf. And if you can't see it now, you'll see it later, and I'll be on here feeling nothing still, dead inside. And I'll be like, yeah, Andy went to 1/10 of Pepe's market cap, like I said that it would. And, it is what it is. But eventually people will see it, You will see it. But you will see it when you deserve to see it. That's the thing. You will see it when you deserve to see it. And if you can't see it now, that's okay. You will see it. You will be able to see it. I promise you that.
I think the meme coin super cycle per se, obviously a lot of people hype it up. It's become this big buzzword, but I think a lot of people kind of miss why exactly the meme coin super cycle is occurring in the first place. How can we talk about these coins that have intrinsically zero value appreciating to levels that even from here provide exponential gains when we talk about obscene valuations? I really think at the crux of it, it comes down to currency devaluation and a loss of faith in fiat money. And that's obviously a very uncomfortable conversation for people to have, but you can't at the same time say, hey, I want them to print more and more money. And then, also have the best of both worlds where, hey, I'm going to have lots and lots of dollars with no repercussions from these exponential gains. So I think it's kind of like you're more or less, when you're betting on the meme coin super cycle, you're betting on continued fiat devaluation, like that at the absolute crux of the.
Uh-oh.
Did I rug for a second there?
You said right. You said crux. You said crux, and then you rugged.
Yeah.
At the crux of the meme coin super cycle debate is fiat currency devaluation. It's only going to continue. And I think a great example of this, what it used to be. I don't know if you guys have watched the new Squid Games, but when people, it's the prize money, I think is like 50 billion won, which, but when you do math, it's 30. Looking at people comment on this. Oh, you guys don't think 30?
Hey, Tommy.
Rugged again.
Yeah.
I'm rugging again. They don't want me to. The Matrix is attacking me. But no.
You said Squid.
Yeah,
you're gonna make a good
you don't
point
think $30 million. Right.
No.
Somebody contact you.
Am I good?
Maybe I can kind of hear you, but it right as you're about to make your point, it just rugs. You're talking about the Squid Games.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Looks good. Looks good. All right,
Okay,
try that again. You're about to
try
hammer
the
this
app.
point, so let's do this.
So in Squid Games, the prize money is like 50 billion won or something like that. And that sounds like a lot of money until you put it into US dollars. It's $30 million. And so I'm looking at the comments of people like, oh, you don't think $30 million is a lot of money? And I think it's obviously a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. But I think people's perception of substantial sums of money has maybe changed a little bit to the point like, people aren't going to be as willing to proverbially risk their lives for $30 million, if that makes sense. So I think we can all see what's happening to our fiat currency. And it is ultimately going to be what catalyzes further meme coin super cycle valuations, in my opinion.
I think that's a great point. A lot of it is perception, right? But that perception is rooted in like a legitimate debasement of purchasing power, right? And I know that we can measure it and be like, oh, okay, well, they've doubled the amount of M2 money supply in circulation in the past 4 years or whatever. And then they can tell us that, headline CPI peaked at, 9%, a couple years ago. And that, oh, it's only 3% right now. But it's like at the same time, you see this stuff online where a guy will go to his Walmart app and click buy this order again from 2020. And it's like 4 times the cost of what it was a few years ago. So it's like a lot of it is genuinely manipulated data. Like I think a lot of us look at that and we're like, it's bullshit that inflation's truly at 3%. It's not. It's not.
Max.
Like in a very isolated measurement with adjustments seasonally and other, it maybe is 3%. But I mean, you're right. Like the sticker shock is not there anymore. Like $1 million. I mean, dude, even like when I graduated college, I turned 29 in a couple weeks. So when I graduated college in 2018, if you were making $100,000 a year right out of college, you were like the man. Like you were loaded. Like everyone was like, dude, how did you get that job? That's insane. And now somebody makes $100,000 and it's kind of like, yeah, you're getting by, like
You're
that
getting
wasn't that
by.
long ago. That wasn't that long ago. But yeah,
here's the point though.
But the crazy thing is, and I'm sorry for cutting you off, Will. I just wanted to add this point. I still feel like a bunch of entry level jobs have not bumped, the amount that they're paying for new graduates. So you're getting like complete wage stagnancy at entry level positions, and that's kind of just like furthering the divide and the gap.
Well,
it is. And then on top of that, if you look at the average cost of a single family home in major cities, wages are stagnant, but your cost to purchase a home, for example, or a vehicle has like doubled in that very same amount of time from like when we graduated college until now.
Max, don't even get me started on that, man. The housing market is a nightmare. Complete nightmare.
It's a nightmare. You have, and that's the problem is you have a lot. I was telling this to my in-laws literally this morning. I was like, you have a whole generation of young men that are literally like, I'm getting fucked so hard right now, and there's nothing I can do about it. I am just going to gamble my way out of this. And that is genuinely what's going to fuel this thing, is a bunch of guys like us throwing like literal like house-sized liquidity into Pepe instead of buying a house. That's what's going to send this thing so much higher. But the boomer mind cannot fathom that because they bought their house for 1 year's salary back in the 70s. You know how many years' salary it's going to take, a 24-year-old to save up for a decent single-family home now? They're going to have to save up for 5 years to literally just cover the down payment.
Likely 10 if they want to live any part of their life.
Yeah.
The only way out is to buy Pepe. I'm not even kidding. Like, there's no irony in that. You have to gamble your way out. You're getting destroyed right now.
Max,
you're all getting destroyed. That's why Pepe.
The math at mass is 1.45. I think it's 445 million is the current value of 1 million in 2010. That's almost a 50% decline in value since 2010.
And I don't even think that that's accurate, Will. I actually would argue it's way worse than that. I would argue it is way worse than that. If that's some online like inflation calculator, I don't trust it at all.
Inflation calculator, but it's a CPI inflation calculator, but
I don't trust that either, man. I've seen it.
I'm not saying to trust it. What I'm saying though is if they're giving that cooked number and it's still 50% drop, that's That's a lot. That means you've lost a lot of value on your money.
I would argue it's 300% at least.
Yeah, but this is why the rich continue to do what they do and create predatory situations for the people that are not rich, so that way they can continue to thrive, because they know that inflation is moving at such a high speed that if they don't continue to take advantage of people, they're going to start to fall behind, even though they've had 30 million, 50 million, 100 million. That now has to become 300 million, 500 million to be able to keep up with the times, to be able to keep up with inflation. And as that happens, it widens the gap between the poor and the rich. And it makes it wider and wider and wider. And then the poor start to see, oh shit, they're doing all this to keep the game running. They're playing the game of stocks. Now we're being forced into the situation. A lot of people don't realize, like, people are coming into the stock market, and this isn't us manipulating people. It's not individuals manipulating people. They're being forced into buying assets that they can afford. The only asset they can afford right now is stocks and crypto. They cannot afford to go buy a house and have that as an asset. They cannot afford to buy any other type of asset. They can't buy land. They can't buy anything because it's not affordable as far as the way things stand. And if you go back to wages, I mean, an average engineering job is paying between 80 to 120K. That should be like your bottom livable wage at current costs. Like that should be the bottom. And they still haven't come up, right? And then, like, now if you get a good job, you can make anywhere from $250,000 to 300K. But unless you're at that top end edge, you're not going to get those numbers. And I think that a lot of people don't look at it from that perspective. There's not many people in that boat. And starting wages, like, you have to live at home. You can't even afford to live on your own. If you just come out of college and you're doing internships or anything like that, or just getting your first job, you likely cannot even afford to live on your own.
Yeah, so true.
It's a pretty wild world that we live in, and people think that it's not worth the value to buy BB, or it's not worth the value. Look, if you get in a good alpha group that's making you money, it's worth the value. And anybody who makes money, or at least somewhat makes money, knows that you have to spend money to make money. Do you think that Max comes on here and does all this stuff for free, and then all of a sudden, he's just raking in the dough? No, he has costs. He has overhead costs. There's always overhead costs for everybody. I mean, my mic is overhead costs. My camera's overhead costs. These are things that are overhead costs that we have to cover. And if our computer breaks down, guess what? We got to buy a new computer. Those are overhead costs. These things that I would say good groups can offer, they have costs in them. They do, genuinely. And then the people involved also are costs. And I think, like, when you look at it from that perspective, if you're looking to make money, I know people that pay $100,000 to go to seminars, to learn shit. They'll pay $50,000, $20,000, $30,000 to go to seminars, because people are so down bad that they want a way out, and they don't care what it costs them to do that. The smart people, they find the right routes. The dumb people, they get finessed in these markets. It is what it is.
A lot of great points there, Will. A lot of wisdom.
I gotta show something from one of our guys, Emilio, told me to look at this on stream. So this is actually pretty nice. This is China's 10-year note times US M2 on top and Bitcoin below.
That's China's 10-year treasury bond?
Yeah. Oh. Okay. Times US M2. Right. I think it's US. I don't think it's global.
What in the world?
So basically, I know. That's what I said too at first. M2.
We got a long way to go.
That's what I'm saying. So you get higher highs each time in this, and that marks a Bitcoin top, and this thing is just nuking right now. So, I mean, I guess the point would be that we have a long way to go. Now, I don't know if
forever.
I don't know if something has like fundamentally changed here or not. I would need some sort of Chinese macro guru to tell me that, but for the top callers, right, I would point to this. So
CN10Y.
Yeah, CN10Y times WM2NS.
What's the R10 10-year looking like over the next couple days?
Would you say our 10-year?
Yeah.
Our 10-year looks good and cooked, I'm pretty sure.
Something has to be changed here. Like
I
there's
know. That's what I thought too.
that is really interesting though.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you look at go back to my screen real quick. I'm just looking at this for the first time.
Yeah.
The first thing that I see is clearly this.
Right?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Popcat chart, is that what you said?
Yeah.
My.
I'm actually not joking. It looks like the Popcat log chart, just obviously without that big red candle.
And I don't know what the hell I'm looking at here. So China's 10-year times the US money supply.
Yeah, I think
What
it's
would that
probably a
even
function of
be?
people thinking that China's going to stimulate to a crazy degree, which they really haven't done, I don't believe. So,
I mean, this is tether dominance, bro. Study that.
yeah, that is also log USDTD.
They actually did just stimulate pretty recently.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, I think that's what's happening to that chart.
Wait, you had a Chinese economy that was booming for the last 20 years, and then now it's starting to cool off.
Yep.
So,
That's all it is.
yeah, I don't know if this obviously was useful. I don't know if it's gonna continue to be useful, but I'm sure it can give you some sort of alpha.
So CN10Y, so their 10-year yield is down only, aka people are buying their bonds. People are buying their debt rather than ours, essentially.
That's scary.
Yeah, that is scary.
The thing that people tend to forget is like there's always an arbitrage opportunity, right? And like if people see an arbitrage opportunity, they'll buy Chinese debt, they'll buy American debt, but they're always going to swap back to American debt. It's always going to happen.
We hope.
I mean, people have been saying that
the Chinese government to pay you more than the U.S. government.
Janet left a time bomb for the next administration, man. She
an
belongs
absolute time bomb.
But
here's the thing.
On Janet Yellen's crime. You should be too.
People have been saying this shit about China for years that they're going to flip us and everything else. I can tell you right now, once we get the inauguration on it, stuff like that, what I'm anticipating is Trump's going to come in. He's going to tariff them all to hell. People are going to leave their bonds. Their bonds are going to fucking absolutely drop to the floor, and they're going to push to American bonds. Watch and see if that doesn't play out. Like this is an arbitrage situation. I'm telling you, it is going to happen. He is going to enforce tariffs on everybody and absolutely floor everybody's fucking bond market. That's what I think comes to fruition from all of this.
Bro, what? Oh, bro, I didn't even see that you said that, MMD. I genuinely wasn't even reading the comments, bro. It looks exactly like it. Like, props to you for seeing it. I didn't even see what your comment was, man. Like, I didn't mean to steal your fractal. I saw it too. I mean, it literally looks exactly like it. So,
Tucker, can you put the Popcat chart next to this on log? I'm dead serious. They look very.
Yeah, I know.
What's everybody gonna do once every country in the world is tariffed and their bonds start dropping to the floor? What are they gonna do?
Buy
they're gonna
Pepe.
buy Pepe.
they might plug crypto. That's actually a good point.
They will be forced to buy Pepe.
I will continue to say that crypto's primary utility over a long term is going to be as a non-sovereign storage of value, simply because fiat currency is inevitably headed, hopefully not to zero, but maybe.
But maybe.
No. So fiat. I'm not giving hopium for Chinese bonds. I'm giving like disastrous situations for Chinese bonds. I'm telling you that shit's gonna get absolutely thrashed once they start implementing freaking like. I don't think people understand what tariffs will do to these countries. People won't see the value in them if they start getting tariffed by the U.S. They will start not investing. And if they
generational entry,
they'll pull out.
Generational entry live on Market Check. Here you go. I'm giving it to you live right here.
Fucking
generational entry right here,
bro.
You will.
But you wouldn't believe it.
Yeah, that's what I'm anticipating, Josh. Is I'm anticipating for risk assets to absolutely fly. That's what I'm thinking too. I'm thinking this is going to be a shift to risk once he starts tariffing, and you're going to see everybody jump out of bonds because they're going to be scared of government. They're going to shift over to risk. You're going to see risk move heavily. You're going to see a lot of memes. Everything else kind of pump really fucking hard next year, I think. That's usually the exit, but you want to be in before the exit starts.
We literally talked about this scenario yesterday on stream of this playing out on Pepe, and we even had it on the highlights.
Took 12 hours, Louis. That's
it literally took 12 hours.
Literally took 12 hours.
We have the highlight clip too on Twitter.
Yes, we do.
Classic.
Yeah, I think there's gonna be a massive move to risk, man. I'm telling, like, Pepe, whatever the fuck you want to consider risk. Like, I just think that risk is really gonna come heavily on the table next year.
I am so long right now. It's literally nauseating. Like, I told this to Tucker and Tommy because we had a payroll issue at BB. It got delayed by 1 day because there was just like some issue. So it came 24 hours later, and I literally said to Tucker, who's in charge of payroll, I was like, dude, I like genuinely don't have any money. Like, I'm going to be eating ice cubes tonight. Like, I have no money. Like, I am genuine. I was like depending on that paycheck, man. That is how long I am right now. I'm not
I had to call them. I had to pay a premium to get it expedited just for you, Max.
Dude, it was bad, bro. I was like, Tucker, like, this is like, my son is going to be eating like bread and ketchup tonight if you don't get this paycheck.
Max is living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah. I was like,
may I have some more, please?
Situation, bro.
Sir? May I have some more, sir?
That's
that
the way to
meme
go,
of
though.
like my bank account and then my crypto portfolio is so true for me right now.
Yeah.
Like, my banker thinks I'm like just a complete peasant, man, just like living off credit card debt for like a year. All I do is just put everything in crypto, man. It has to be done.
Don't tell me about credit card debt, bro. Like, I'm the most degenerate person in the world, bro. I just refuse to pay them in full.
And Will took that personally.
Dude, Will's ballsy financial decisions. Your strategy is so predatory, Will. I just can't believe it when I hear it sometimes. I'm not going to talk about the other one live on the air, but after Market Check one day, we had a conversation, and I literally couldn't believe what this man does to make more money. Like,
with tag, yeah. We don't. Yeah,
he almost said it.
You're a madman.
You're a
madman.
You are looking skinny, Max. Yeah, I mean, it's Tucker's fault, bro. He was 24 hours late on the paycheck, and I couldn't eat for a day. So.
Yeah,
it's tough.
Got to do what you got to do, man. Government comes last. That's all I'm gonna say. All right.
Well, I would keep your cards close to your chest on your strategy. Okay.
I'm not saying nothing. I'm just saying government comes last. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, well, don't pick up the Snickers. That's my only advice to you on your future, okay? All right. Well, I think that's the end of the show, guys. That is the last episode of Market Check for this year. All right, that's the last episode of Market Check for this year. So, Tommy, perhaps you could tell them how they could further enrich their lives going into 2025. How about it?
I'm working on pulling it up. Internet,
you're
keeps,
rugging at the same
keeps up
time
for me.
too.
But one of my New Year's resolutions
is the internet. Is that your New Year's resolution? Is
that
a
is.
new
Looks
internet
like I'm
company?
gonna be doing it. It looks like it's going to be me today. I don't. I don't think that Tommy stands a
is
chance
to
of
No,
getting
he
through the
doesn't.
outro right now.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't
man.
think Tommy's going to be able to do this one today, guys. So I'm going to fly through it. Listen, guys, if you haven't joined the Discord yet, you're messing up in a big way. Okay, you're messing up in a huge way. So let me just kind of skip to the good part. Okay, here's what we're offering right now. If you're like, you know what, I have no interest in being in a Discord. Well, one, it's a big mistake, but that's fine. You can buy the BB terminal as a standalone product for $97 per month. It is basically a Swiss Army knife of a product. It's going to give you all in one, everything that you're going to ever need or want. Premium indicators, on-chain analysis, spaghetti charts, derivative stuff, literally everything you could ever need or want, all bundled into one. It is fantastic. Definitely consider checking this one out, guys. This is the gold package. Okay. Now I know it's expensive, but it is truly worth it, right? And prices go up basically every single quarter. Okay. Within this gold package right here, you get the BB terminal included for no additional charge. Now, what you can look forward to with this gold package right over here is basically 3.5 hours per day of private live voice calls. They're conference calls with the entire panel that's up here right now, plus some other BB team members and the entire BB community. We lead a roundtable discussion. We do screen sharing. We talk about chart setups, analysis, things that we don't cover here on YouTube or on X. And additionally, whenever one of us makes a positional change, either buying or selling, setups, things like that, you'll get the ping right to your phone. Okay. So don't conflate our Discord with another Discord that maybe you've been in the past. This is nothing like that. We simply use the Discord platform because it's native and familiar for a lot of people. Okay. It is not like any other Discord that you've ever been in. 3 hours per day of private conference calls with us with Q&A, positional updates, everything like that. Plus, we spent hundreds of thousands of dollars building out a custom BB terminal to give you for no additional cost within the Discord. Okay. So this is truly the best package out there. It's the all-in-one. You got to be in it, right? And I know that you're maybe looking at it and you're like, hey, look, that's expensive. $400 a month. That's like a car payment. Here's the thing. There's a reason that we have an 80% plus lifetime member retention rate for this product. And it's not because people are running a deficit paying us this every single month. It's not just, it's something that Will mentioned earlier too. One, there needs to be a big barrier to entry on something like this. People pile into cheap products and they don't take it seriously, right? So there is a ticket to admission to get into something like this. Two, you will see very quickly that this is a huge production. Okay. This is not some like dinky little Discord that got popped up. You are buying into a massive production. It is a hive mind. It is an alpha center. Okay. So you will come in and you will not have any doubts or questions on like, what am I paying for here? You will know within 24 hours why you're paying what you're paying. And you will see within the first 30 to 60 days, hey, I may have spent $400 to get in here, but it has made me a lot more money than I have spent. And that's why we have an 80% plus lifetime member retention rate. And it's not because people come and they lose money. Okay. It's the exact opposite. So you'll see very quickly that there's not a group out there that works harder than we do. Okay. And by the way, get in while you can because it's getting crowded and I'm going to start jacking the price up again because we need to slow the amount of people that are in there because we like to make sure that it's a 4 quarters over 100 pennies thing. We decided as a business not to go the volume route. We don't want to have tens of thousands of people that pay us a little bit. We want a very select inner group of people that take what we do seriously and we can help them navigate markets. That's what we do here. So guys, join us somewhere. Join us in the terminal. Join us in the Discord. And if none of that's for you guys, there's also another option. Okay. We also have an SEC registered hedge fund called BB Wealth Management. You can check that out in the description below. It'll take you to our X account where you can set up a meeting. We can tell you all about it. So it can work in a couple different ways. One, BB Wealth Management can be used for those of you that are investing in markets and you're like, hey, you know what? These guys are awesome. I know that they know what they're doing. They've got a great track record. I'd love to throw some money at them, build that relationship and diversify my portfolio. Let them manage it. That's a great strategy, right? We've had a lot of people do that. Another strategy is, hey, I watch Market Check from time to time. I know they're killing it. I know they're on top of it. I don't have time to do this on my own. I work a full-time job. I've got a family, things like that. We can also take it off of your hands. We can actually legally manage money for you with our hedge fund, BB Wealth Management. So a couple different options there for you guys, but join us somewhere, guys. We're going into a really awesome time of the year, typically the best time to be invested in altcoins and meme coins. You're going to want to invest in the resources and align yourself to extract as much value out of this market during this optimal time to be invested. And that time is right now. So you'll see pretty quickly. Join us in the Discord. You will not regret it. Join us in BB Wealth Management. You certainly won't regret it. But guys, thanks so much for being here. Before you go, please like and subscribe, and we will see you guys next time. Everybody take care.